polycystic ovary syndrome is the, long technical term. But it can be characterized by a few things, increased androgen levels, or those like male hormones. And so that can manifest with like facial hair, especially, and other kind of male pattern, hair, the cysts on the ovaries. And then also,
which is painful, very painful.
It can be, when they have a flare up, or like if one of them bursts or something like that. And then also it can be characterized by irregular or missed periods as well. So, and now I think the thing is, you don't even need the cyst on your ovaries. It could be the other two, and you can still get the diagnosis.
That's what I was reading as
yeah.
well.
People have problems with infertility oftentimes with that as well.
A lot of the times that's when it's discovered, because they can't get pregnant. And like for the longest time, maybe they didn't go to the doctor for whatever reason until they're having trouble getting pregnant. And then that's a lot of times when it's discovered, or maybe they were going through some symptoms or whatever. But because it can be hard. I mean, obviously if your hormones aren't where they need to be, it can, that can prevent you from getting pregnant. Your periods are irregular, so you don't know when you're actually ovulating, and maybe you're trying to time that, but that's not working out either. So
have you noticed as a female, and I've noticed, that's why I ask you, it's become so normal to have irregular cycles, and people don't even pay attention to it. I'm like, that's not normal that you're not having a period.
It's
like
just
you're
common.
supposed to. Exactly. It's
common,
common, but it's not normal. And then they're coming to providers and they're like, I can't get pregnant. And I'm like, but think about your last 10, 15 years. Yeah. Your hormones haven't been producing. You haven't been getting a period. So it's very concerning as a female, as a provider, that this is what's being pushed, because I see it day in and day out. 15-year-old girls, have period cramps, let's give her a birth control. Yep. Is that fixing? Not really. Yeah.
That's what jacks my
making it
hormones
worse.
up.
And then they get off this birth control. It takes them 7 months, maybe a year, to get hormones in check or get a period back. And it's just very concerning.
Yeah. Very.
To just see that. Yeah.
It's starting earlier and earlier for sure. I'm actually working on something as well. It's called Out School. And so it's for like, I don't know if you've heard, age 3 to 18. And I mean, there could be a wide range of things on there, from like, tutoring for classes and stuff, but I'm working on getting it fully launched. I've gotten approved, but working with girls like 13 to 18 to just talk about some of the stuff in nutrition and how that all plays a role.
Starts with awareness, right?
Yeah.
And catch them before they get into I'm on birth control.
Exactly.
Which is interesting. I feel like, to your point, like a lot more people are having just issues in general. Women are, and PCOS has become seemingly much more common. Like you're saying, it's almost 1 in 5 women potentially. Like it's pushing toward 1 in 5 women. Was it always that way? Because I don't remember, even when I was a kid, I don't remember hearing about it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I feel like kind of the same way. Like, I feel like I would see women with maybe the facial hair and stuff, but like maybe the
they were in the circus.
Was it? Like seriously,
they had
like
a job.
The Greatest Showman, right?
I'm trying to think, where have I seen this bearded lady?
But that was a thing. But like, it makes you wonder. Yeah, but that was also not very common at all. So that's kind of why she was like.
That's why she was there.
But so I like I said, I think it's even more common than we realize now. It's definitely getting diagnosed more. And
why is it so much more common? Why are women more likely to have their...
What do you think about insulin resistance?
That's what I was just going to say. I think it's the equivalent of insulin resistance. It's
which
the
is tied up
of
with stress.
Yeah,
that we were just
and
talking
sugar.
about.
Stress,
and sugar,
sugar, poor nutrition, not moving your body. Yeah, I mean it's all of that stuff that we're seeing in many other things. But it's the equivalent.
It's America becoming unhealthy, and because of it, we have more diseases, including women specific. I mean, and you talk a lot about the decline of American health. So, like, what are your thoughts on that?
That's terrible. I mean, females are supposed to reproduce, obviously. That's the biological role, essentially. But when you have this amount of, and it goes both ways, right? Because infertility is not only females, it's also males.
It is.
And there's a lot of male infertility. It's just not being discussed because it hurts our ego, obviously. But there's a lot of male infertility. Number one, our testosterone levels are in the floor, are probably less than 300, where ideal should be probably like 600 plus, probably closer to the 800s. So, male infertility, it's terrible. And we're going to be talking about that, I think, in a few months. But because it's Mother's Day month, we got to talk about female stuff. But I'm concerned, obviously. You see all these females that, there's a trend where women want to be more productive. They want to work more. They want to travel, support a family. But if you're not healthy and nobody's giving you answers, it's hard to sustain a family and travel and work when your body's just falling apart. And the worst thing besides dying is actually living and knowing that your body's failing you.
Correct.
Right?
Well, in hormones in general, people totally neglect how important hormones are. They play into everything in your body.
I know. Yeah.
Can you guys talk a little bit about that? Because people are probably like, oh, hormones, yeah. No, they're important. So, share a little bit about that.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to.
Enzo's going to share, first of all. Okay.
Here's my perspective. When your hormones are off or my wife's hormones are off, it's a bad day. That's all I know.
I agree, and a very clean house.
It's a bad day.
My husband, oh my gosh, early on, I'm surprised he's stuck with me because I remember one day, I was an absolute mess, and he's like, I gotta figure out my travel schedule once a month.
Once a month.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, even insulin is a hormone, you know, and that what we're doing, we were talking even before this about, I think you mentioned the avocado and stuff. And it's, people still are kind of in that mindset of these fats, but they're healthy fats, are bad. And you need that to support your hormones. So that
carbs. People love just taking away all carbs. You need energy.
Yeah. It has to be in the form of good, good sustainable carbs. But they play a role in
they're building
pretty much everything.
Everything. I mean,
from
your
reproductive
brain,
health,
brain.
So again, it's like we were just saying, some things are common or just not normal. When I was during chiropractic school, that's when I was like, I need to do something about it. My periods became extremely painful, nauseous. I could not eat anything. I was also an athlete,
which is physical stress.
Very stressful. I was a runner, so I'm training 6 days a week, that twice a day, maybe.
Period to stop.
Yes. And my mom, I remember, she was like, that's not normal that you're having so much pain. You can get up the bed.
You two had a smart mom.
Yeah, she is. But I started talking to another Puerto Rican chiropractor that she deals with a lot of health issues. And what she did was she put me in a 21-day cleansing diet. Okay. And she started teaching me, just like you, how to eat more whole foods. And 21 days changed my life. Since then, I don't have the nausea. I don't have the period cramps. I don't have the bloating. The PMS is still there. I still get very sentimental. I still clean my house like a psycho. But still, all those symptoms went away just by nutrition. Because I didn't know that what I was putting in my body or what my body needed during those days that my body was going through so many changes through hormones. And that's something, as a female, it's not talked a lot. No. I think it's coming out more now, but our hormones are working 100% of the time during the month. It's not only during our period. And you need to know how to take care of it during those phases, whether it's working out less or doing a different workout that is not straining your body, whether it's your nutrition aspect. Most females are going to tell you they want to eat a fat burger when they're about to get their period. Yeah, because your
bowl of chocolate something.
Exactly, because your body's asking you for that iron that you need to be replaced. Again, our body is so intelligent. We just don't freaking listen to it. So as females, it's just a good reminder that we gotta think about it. We gotta ask the questions. We gotta just dig a little bit deeper.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I was going to say, so many people listening to this are going to say, listen, maybe what I'm experiencing, have been experiencing, isn't normal. I was thinking it was normal, but it's not. And so you gave some very clear things of what to do. Can you also speak on, like, somebody who's listening to say, okay, I think my hormones are off. I do have bad PMS, bad periods, bad this, and this is not normal. I'm having trouble getting pregnant. I might have PCOS. Where do they start? What do they do? And you gave some very good, tangible. I want to hear your perspective as well.
I've got two, but I don't know which one I want to. I can talk about both of them. So one, that this is like the basis that I use for my clients. I also have like a 3-day challenge that I do, and we started off and talk about breathing.
Yeah.
Because your body can't heal itself when it doesn't feel safe, when it's in that fight or flight mode all the time. And so just taking a minute 2-3 times a day to breathe and do some nice deep breathing exercises. I like to pair it with when they're eating, because it also kind of helps with digestion and helps you actually like be more mindful of what you're putting in your body. And you know, helps you realize when you're full, you know, before you even get to that point sometimes, right? So that's probably my number one. And then the other thing is just that so many people are overfed and undernourished. Yes. And so
I love that.
Yeah. So not even taking things away right away, but by simply adding in some more protein and veggies with every meal, like your body will be like, oh, wow, I need this stuff. I like this stuff. Okay, now maybe I don't need those other sweets or, you know, things like that. And if you're already in that mode, and then during, you know, depending on the time of your cycle, it's going to be even amplified. Yeah. But by just simply adding in some good nutrients, you know.
Because I stopped craving sugar during those 21 days.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, wait, sugar? And then I ate a chocolate. I was like, I don't like this anymore. Yeah. I remember that.
It changes.
It's addicting. It's a drug, unfortunately, they just have here in the U.S. It's just sugar is a drug, and it's destroying lives.
It's poison.
All of that.
Well, they put sugar in like even fast food burgers and stuff. They put it in there because it is addictive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is there so obviously I'm thinking about my patients, my younger females, and even the ladies. Most of the time we don't listen to our symptoms. So we might have an issue as a human being. We might not notice that this might be a sign or a body signal that something's off. Is there, and obviously from a medical perspective, from a primary perspective, there's a lot of blood tests that will never happen. Because again, medical doctors, they just miss the big picture. Excuse me, Enzo. I'm talking to Lindsay.
I know, I love you too.
You know, you go to a doctor, they're going to give you the basic stuff, you know, a blood panel, triglycerides, whatever it is. And there's a lot of things that are never going to be talked about, right? Yeah. Is there a blood panel that patients should request to their primary doctors to determine if they have PCOS or issues that are related to insulin resistant or hormone issues, etc.?
I think it's that insulin level. It's not, and like I was actually just reading about this yesterday. It's not getting checked, and partially because I think physicians don't know what to do with it.
Correct.
And that's kind of that pre-diabetes phase is when that insulin is elevated. Plus, there's also some discrepancies on like what the normal actually is, and so I think that's the other piece of that. True. But a lot of the times they're just like, why am I gonna check it? Because I can't really treat that. Like, you know, I can't really do anything about that. I can tell them to eat better or whatever, but I can't prescribe anything for that really right now until it gets to, you know, full blown diabetes and
obesity
everything.
And everything. Yep.
And instead they just then.
Well, regardless, even if they see the marker on the blood test, they're still gonna give them medications.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Paired with whatever symptoms they're having, then they're
never gonna address the root.
No.
So where can people find you if they're looking, like, because you obviously work with people, if they're listening to this and they're like raising their hand and going, this is me, I need help. Where can they find you if they want to hear more information? About that?
So I do have a website, healthyeveryafter.life.
Okay.
And then I'm on YouTube at Finding Your Healthy Ever After. Instagram, healthy_everafter15. And then I'm on Facebook. I actually use my My personal one is Lindsay Vizethin, but that
cool.
one I'd have to spell for you.
I was going to say, I don't know if I know how to spell this.
I have it on a sentence.
So women can find that. Now, if a guy's listening to this and they're like, that's my wife, what would you tell them?
So call Lindsay Vizethin. Go to the website that she said. If you don't want to deal with your grumpy wife, or you want your wife to outlive you, if anything, they should talk to her. Get healthy. I mean, what's the point of you as a guy being healthy, working out, eating well, but your wife is not healthy? Right? What's the point of that?
How can you think guys can support women during this?
Number one, they got to stop saying they're crazy. It's like, hey, it's a hormonal issue. She's actually not crazy, and supporting the process, especially if you're going to change your nutrition and your lifestyle habits. Everybody has to be all in the house.
So you should eat a big bowl of chocolate ice cream in front of her.
If she's trying to get healthy, I can't be doing unhealthy stuff because, again, it has to be everybody has to be all in. It's all about family health.